Hey guys, you're probably here because you want to know all about how to put on weight. Well, I'm going to answer that question and we're going to look at the healthy way to put on weight in this week's Responding to Your Comments, where we look at fun questions, we look at science-based questions, but most importantly, we always look at the evidence. Flavia DD, make a video on how to put on weight. I'm eating so much and can't put anything on. Flavia, thank you for your comment. This is actually from the how to lose weight video, so I'm not sure why you're watching that, but anyway, thank you for the comment. I'm going to do my best to answer this question to the best of my ability, really. We're going to go into quite a lot of detail. So if at any point in this video you want more information, or if you want to find a specific piece of information, I am going to chapter it in the description below. So feel free to click on the section that's relevant to you at any point in the video. Now let's begin. So before we dive in and learn how to put on weight, the first thing I'd like to mention is, do you actually need to put on weight? Okay, so that's super important you check that before listening to everything else that I'm going to talk about. So the best way, the easiest way to do this is to check your BMI. I'm going to leave a BMI calculator link in the description below. It's very easy to do. You just put your height, your weight and your gender in the calculator, and it calculates your BMI and it tells you whether you're at healthy status or whether you're underweight or overweight. And if you are overweight or in the normal category, you don't really need to listen to all of this. But if you are in the underweight category, then yes, it does make sense to listen to everything that I'm going to talk about to try and help you put on more weight. Okay, so when we're trying to put on weight, first of all, it's super important that you don't miss those hunger signals produced from ghrelin. Now, ghrelin is a chemical that our body releases. It's like the hunger gremlin. See what I'm trying to do there? Gremlin, okay? But this chemical makes us feel hungry. It gives us the urge to have a meal, okay? So once you get that hunger signal from the hunger gremlin, okay, you need to eat. Don't leave it too late. As soon as you get that signal that you're feeling hungry, that's time for a meal. And if you miss it, if you leave it too late, it's just a missed meal opportunity. Now, if you're trying to put on weight, we know that you need to eat more than you usually would, and that's very simple. But what I mean by that is you need to challenge yourself. Because usually the problem is when you're underweight and you're trying to put on weight, is that you get full very quickly. So you need to challenge yourself by having an extra spoon or 2 spoonfuls of food that you would usually not finish. So challenge yourself at the end of the meal when you're feeling really full, just have an extra 1 or 2 spoons. Do it slowly, do it however is easier for you. But at the end of the week, those extra spoonfuls will be equal to probably 1 or 2 extra meals. Hope that makes sense. And make each spoonful count by chewing your food thoroughly. Your body will be able to absorb food better if you break it down first with your teeth rather than relying on enzymes such as amylase for carbohydrates, proteases for proteins, and lipases for fat to digest the food in your gut. Now, if you're someone who finds it difficult to chew their food, then try making a smoothie or soups. A quick, nutritious smoothie could be made from high-calorie ingredients like full-fat milk, honey, bananas, oats, and nut butter. You can also make a savory, high-calorie soup. So, for example, you can put vegetables in there, animal stock, and potatoes, and top it off with a bit of full-fat cream. These are going to be high in calories, but also this is just a quick example of things that you can do. I am going to talk about different foods to incorporate and all that sort of stuff later on in the video. So let's keep going. Now, if you're not doing this already, you need to be eating regular meals. So we're having 3 meals a day, okay? This is the most important thing. We need regular meals. But in between these meals, you can also snack. Snacking is also going to help you put on weight. Snacking with things that are dense in calories. So for example, granola bars, rice puddings, the smoothie that we just spoke about, these sort of things are very good and high in calories. Now, fiber is also something that's really good, but you don't want to overdo it. Look, we know that fiber is good for you. It reduces your cardiovascular risk, reduces your risk of diabetes, it reduces your risk of bowel cancer, so it's really, really good. But we don't want to overdo it because having too much fiber is going to make us feel full a lot quicker. So we're not going to be able to get all those calories in that we need to put on weight and get to a healthy level. So the UK government guidelines for fiber intake is 30 grams a day. I wouldn't go any higher than that. Again, it's going to affect how much you can eat. Now, if you're wondering what has fiber in it, how much fibers have, I am going to link all of this sort of stuff in the description below for you as well. Now, other than fiber making us feel full, there is another thing that can make us feel full too. That's having too much water, having too much liquids. Now, it's not a bad thing, by the way. I'm not saying don't drink water so you can eat more. All I'm saying is when you're having your meals, try not to drink water or any fluids with it. That way you can get more food in, you can get more calories in, and then afterwards, once you finish your meal, have your water, have your drinks, whatever you need to have. It's super important that you are having the recommended amount of water, because if you're not having enough water, we're gonna get dehydrated, we're gonna feel sick, we're gonna feel ill, and also, because you're having a lot more food in your stomach and in your gut now, you're gonna be more likely to get constipated. So you need to make sure you are adequately hydrated as well. So we know that water is important, but it's also important to keep us hydrated when we exercise. And speaking of exercise, exercise is actually an appetite stimulant as well. So after exercising, you will feel hungrier, so you can eat more. Exercise can also be used effectively to put on the right kind of weight. After exercise, some of the extra calories you're eating will be used to build muscle and bone. This means you're going to get stronger as you put on weight. In this way, exercise will help put those calories to good use rather than the body just storing those extra calories as fat. So the next thing that I want to mention to you all is sleep. Look, I know this video is about putting on weight, and that's great. And usually these kinds of videos, we talk about foods and calories and all that sort of stuff which we've been doing so far, but sleep is often missed. And sleep is critical for our body to process those calories and to repair muscles, to repair our body and help build new muscle as well, especially if we're exercising. So make sure that you're getting enough sleep. If you are someone who's struggling to put on weight, just think to yourself, how many hours sleep are you getting? Because if you're an adult, you should be getting at least 8 hours of good quality sleep per night. Now, if you're someone who struggles to go to sleep, I do have a video on this topic already, which I will link up here and in the description below too. It's a really good video. So I definitely recommend that you check it out. So while you are doing all of these tips, it's super important that you do a daily weight measurement and constantly monitor your weight, because the last thing that you want to do is end up becoming overweight because you've been wanting to put on weight and it's too much. So it's super important that you keep looking at your BMI, keep monitoring it, keep a tally of it, and when you're in a normal range, you can go back to a normal, healthy diet. It's also super important that you keep your healthcare professional informed about this, that you're trying to put on weight, so they're aware of it as well and can give you support from them as well. Now it's time to talk about foods that are high in calories and to give you food ideas. But like I said earlier, please, before you do anything like this, before you want to try and put on weight, always involve your healthcare professional in it first, and also try and get a dietitian involved in your action plan and helping you come up with a diet plan together. Dietitians are awesome at this kind of stuff. They know everything there is to this kind of stuff, and I'd highly recommend that you do speak to them. And also, I will leave a load of links and information in the description below about different food options and just loads more food ideas and calorie ideas and all that sort of stuff, because I can keep going on forever in this video, and I don't want to give you an information overload. I'm just going to give you some brief examples of foods, so let's run through them now. Fat and protein combos: nuts, nut butter, oily fish with healthy fat like salmon, eggs, cheese. Full fat foods are also great, but remember to keep portion sizes limited. Here are some carbohydrate ideas: granola, oats, rice, potatoes, seeded bread, pasta. Here are some fats only ideas: plant-based spreads, avocados, coconut oil and olive oil. Now, one important note when we're talking about treats: they're okay to have, but they tend to be high in fat and sugar with little nutritional benefit. So keep them occasional, and this includes things like pizza, cake, biscuits, etc. Now, one thing that we haven't discussed yet is any underlying health issues that might be stopping you from putting on weight. So I think the best way to do this is just to discuss them one by one, and if any of them apply to you or anyone that you know, please get them to speak to a healthcare professional, or get yourself to speak to a healthcare professional to see what's going on so they can investigate it further. This is the most important thing. This is probably the most important part of this video, as always, because you guys should always know when to seek medical advice. So for any of these also, I am going to leave more in the description below as well if you want more information on them, so feel free to read there as well. So number one, any form of food anxiety. So you're feeling stressed about making food choices, and it might actually prevent you from eating food. So if this applies to you, you need to speak to a healthcare professional. Number two, Appetite suppression due to any medication. This is not uncommon. So if you started a new medicine or anything like that, and you feel like you're not eating as much, and you feel like your appetite is suppressed because of it, then again, speak to your healthcare professional. Number 3, if your teeth feel sensitive, if you have any mouth sores or any ulcers, they're making it difficult and painful to eat, then you really need to speak to your dentist about this. Number 4, any pain or reflux after eating or even before eating, or any weight loss, any unexpected weight loss that you haven't been trying to lose, and also any difficulty swallowing. If you're having any of these sort of symptoms, you need to speak to your healthcare professional. Number 5 is all about your stools. If you've noticed that they've changed in colour at all, if they become darker, if they become really pale, if there's any pus, mucus, blood, anything like that in your stools, then again, you need to speak to your healthcare professional. Number 6, chronic diseases can lead to unexpected weight loss or being unable to put on any weight. So if this applies to you at all, then please again, make sure to speak to your healthcare professional about it. So Flavia, thank you for your comment, and thank you to anyone who's watching this video. I really hope that you find this information helpful. You now are a bit of a how to put on weight pro. You now know all about BMI and making sure to check that before you try and put on weight, making sure that if you're at a normal weight, you don't need to do this, okay? It's only really if you are underweight. You now know all about calories, about different types of foods that are healthy in calories. You also know about ghrelin, the gremlin, which we spoke about earlier. And you also know about sleep, you know about everything. And lastly, the most important thing, you know about all the red flags and when to seek medical attention. That is the most important part, because your health is the most important thing. I really hope you find this information helpful. I always say this at the end of each video. If you have any of your own tips, please leave a comment below too, because I'd love to read it. I'm sure anyone who's watching this video would love to read it too. So it looks like we've run out of time again in this week's Responding to Your Comments. If I didn't get back to your question, I am really sorry, but the best advice I can give all of you is keep on leaving those comments. Leave a comment on this video, leave a comment on the next video, and eventually, I promise you, I will get back to you in a future episode of Responding to Your Comments. That's the end of this week's episode. Always remember that you're awesome, and I will see you next week. Hey guys, thanks for watching this week's video. Make sure to click that like, follow, or subscribe button now to stay up to date with new weekly videos.